Hey, Shalom, Makiam.
Shalom.
Hey, we want to give all praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash.
Double honors to the apostles and the elders that rule well. Peace and blessings to you brothers out there that's kicking his word, in sincerity, also in truth. You know, we are the watchmen of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. We come out here, you know, to prophesy against these various countries, and also to let the elect know, and also the multitude know what's going on, you know, in geopolitics, because we're living in the times where these various, wars and rumors of wars are going to become, you know, are going to affect your life, man, very soon.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? In fact, let's start off with Jeremiah 28:8 real quick. God, go ahead.
2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said Yahweh, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true.
So we are to speak the words of prophecy unto our people, man. And if you read down in that particular chapter, it says, "Let not the incredulity of those," you know, basically, loosely paraphrasing, stop you, man.
Right.
So we're not worried about these various people who don't understand or perceive, you know, what we're saying to be correct, man. You see, we'll focus on the elect. You know, but we're more so focused on, you know, letting people know that bad times are coming, man. Just like our forefathers did. That's right. Go ahead, my brother.
God, this is Ezekiel chapter 38.
Hold on. Jeremiah 28. I thought you had
This is Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and thee of old prophesy both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and evil and of pestilence.
And that's what we're doing here. We're prophesying against this country, which we know to be Babylon, okay, of war, of evil, and also pestilence, man. And that's what you see here here in the U.S., man. You see the U.S. is really gearing up for war. You know, you have the America, you know, funding coups in Venezuela.
Right.
You know, you see AIDS at an epidemic rate here in the U.S., man. You know, there was an article that was sent out, and you have AIDS in the black community that's really in the rates that you would see, you know, in these various African countries, man.
Right.
You know, you have America placing these various sanctions on these various countries, man, and these countries are getting upset. In particular, Russia, and they're gearing up for war. In fact, you had a Russian choir singing, saying to basically encouraging the country to burn America. You see, that's an example of war and rumors of wars, man. You know, and as watchmen, we have to come out here. We have to tell our people what's going on. Tell them, hey, look out for these things, because within us doing that, we know that the Most High is going to send back His Son. It talks about that in Matthew the 24th chapter. Did you have something, my brother?
I got that in Joel.
You got that in Joel? Go ahead,
I'll read this real quick. You going to 9?
I'm gonna start at 10.
Okay, you started 9. Like,
This is Salaki, I'm gonna start at 9. This is Joel 3:9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near.
That's right. So, so you have these various countries, you know, gearing up for war. Another war that's not being spoken about is the whole scenario in India versus Pakistan. They're actually at war with one another.
that's right.
You see? So you have the East Africa war, North Africa riddled with war, the Middle East riddled with war, man. South America, coups and wars, man. Eventually, it's going to touch Babylon the Great. He's saving the best for last. And when this place, and when war and pestilence hit this place, man, it's going to be absolute chaos. You see? But now what we seeing, what we seeing that storm ruling, if you will. You know, before a storm, you see clouds and things of that nature forming. what is a cumulus cloud? The big clouds that look like cotton, if you will, formulating. Wind start picking up, and that's what we're seeing. And a prime example of that is Russia, basically opted out of the INF treaty, excuse me, which the brother has the article.
You got it. I just had the definition of treaty.
We had a treaty. Well, go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, this is the INF treaty, which I'm going to read it in armscontrol.org. The 1987 Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty required the United States and the Soviet Union to eliminate. And require the United States and the Soviet to eliminate and permanently forswear all of their nuclear and conventional ground-launched ballistic and cruise missiles with ranges of 500 to 5,500 kilometers.
So I want to say that term is non-proliferation, right? When they say, you know what, we're not going to build these nuclear warheads and things of that nature. We're going to stop on that. Well, now you have Russia basically, you know, disavowing that contract, right? In which is, America did it first. But there was news that came out that Russia said, you know what, at that contract, man, yes, we're gearing up for war. You see? Because these like the elder likes to say, the elder Oriel likes to say, these various Cold Wars or trade wars leads what? To a hot war. Right now, you have America placing these various sanctions on Russia, right, and stopping them from being able to basically do commerce. Commerce is a fancy word for business between countries, right? Or trade, like the brother said, between countries, man. And that's going to lead to them doing what? In all that war, right?
Lead to it, yeah.
Go ahead, my brother. You got more than that?
I had the article pulling out.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, this is in CNN.com. Russia will exit INF nuclear missile treaty in 6 months. Russia says it will mirror the United States withdrawal from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty between the countries, formally exiting the agreement in 6 months. Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov announced the move in a report from the state news agency RIA Novosti on Wednesday. It comes after the Trump administration last week said it will be pulling out of the nuclear missile treaty, accusing Russia of violating the terms since 2014.
So you have both of these countries that are pulling out of this agreement, not to make these various nuclear bombs, if you will, man. And that's a clear act of war. You see? So these extreme statements by the U.S. and also Russia has been heightening more and more. See, this is real news, man.
Right.
All the other distractions that R. Kelly crap and things of that nature that our people are engulfed in, man, that doesn't mean anything, man. We out here telling our people to wake up.
That's why the brother read it Joel. Proclaim ye the nation.
There's more? Go ahead, my brother. Yeah, Salaki.
Go back to Joel. I'm going to start over in 9 again, actually. This is Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. And that's like the priest said, that's what you see happening, man. Like basically America and Russia, they're pulling out of this agreement. So what did that let you know? It's game time, baby.
That's right.
All of these things are on the table. All of these different nuclear missiles are on the table. Brothers been going into how the Russians, they have a stealth missile, you know, that's undetectable by any type of radar or missile defense technology, you know. Verse 10, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
That's right. Hey, that's beautiful. That goes into exactly what we just read, man.
Yep.
You know, so now you're gonna see these two countries manufacturing these weapons of destruction, you know, or the sword.
Yep.
Right? And Russia is a huge part of prophecy, man.
Yep.
which we're going to read in Ezekiel. Did you have, before that, did you have a precept?
No.
Okay, you had that, my brother?
Yep.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 1.
Yep.
And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech, and Tubal, and prophesy against him.
That's right. Go ahead.
And say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal.
That's right. So not only is the Most High against Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, if you will, but he's against Magog too, man. Which a modern day area of Magog is what? It's Russia. You see? So what we see going on is the Egyptian is rising up against the Egyptian, man. Or the Edomite is rising up against the Edomite. You see? For that ultimate war.
I got a quick precept.
Go ahead, huh? If anybody got other precepts, let them rain, man. Y'all got something to say it, bro.
This is Revelation chapter 6, verse 3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red. All right, you were going into pretty much how these Edomites over in America and Russia are the same thing. They're against each other, but at the end of the day, they're Edomites. And when you go into it, what was the gift or the blessing that was given to Esau? It was that sword, man. You know, we're going into the invisible missiles and the different nukes that these different people got. Hey, these are Edomites that are coming up with these weapons, man. As much as we look at it and think like, damn, that's some crazy technology. Hey, the Lord really blessed Esau, man. I ain't gonna, being honest, he blessed the hell out of him, man. You know?
Hey, and if I could say this too, just going back to what I read in Joel 3, like the Russians, they're using a lot of these weaker nations too to build them up with missiles and defense as well. That's why the weaker nations gonna be able to say we're strong now.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because the Russians are chiefly through prophecy, they're working with who? The Persians, which would be known today as the Iranians.
That's right.
You know? They're allies in this thing, you know?
Right.
They're selling the missile defense technology to Turkey as well, which America
Syria.
pissed off at, man. You know, it's like the brother saying, the Russians working with a lot of these small other nations. Like I said, they're sending Turkey the S-400s and missile defense technology in America. Turkey was the ally with America. Right. And America is not like that, man. You know, so this is back to brother.
Yeah, Russia like a guard to these other nations.
Man, yo.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, that's it.
This is Revelation 6 and 4. And there went out another a horse that was red, which is synonymous for Esau. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
And who do you see doing that? Well, you see the Edomites doing it, man. You see what I'm saying? Going to these very countries and putting them under subjection. Now there's a whole term called modern colonization, because you have people like China and Russia giving out these loans to these weaker countries. You see what I'm saying? To really put them in debt, man. You see? And all that is going to end in what? That great war.
Right.
See, that's how, and going back to what the priest Yadaka said, man, that's how these weaker nations are going to become strong, man. You see? So the Most High is brewing something very, very, very terrifying, yet beautiful, or yaipa at the same time, man.
That's
which
right.
is what? This judgment, aka the judgment, man.
Done. It says, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And he's using his weaponry to take peace from the earth, man. All right, before the Edomites got in rule, I mean, we did have heathens that were ruling before that. But when the Persians were ruling, shit was kind of chilling. I mean, they were heathen, so they had customs that were contrary to the Lord, but peace wasn't taken from the earth. When the Babylonians were ruling, they was tripping, but peace wasn't taken from the earth. When you look at the state of the earth now, since the Grecians had came in power, who are Edomites, the earth has been in complete disarray. It's been in utter chaos, man.
You said it right.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, you said it right. You said it right. The hurt. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The earth and the hurt mixed together, man.
Yeah. Done. This is the key point of the verse, and that they should kill one another. Y'all went into Egypt against Egyptian, man. You got these Russians who was Gog and Magog, and then you got Esau over here in America. This is the same nation of people, but they want to hurt one another. They here to kill one another. And then you had the Germans with those Amalekites. Well, we all know the dang Holocaust was false anyway, man. But even going to those Ukrainians that was slain over there, by them, man. These are all Edomites that are slaying other Edomites, man.
That's right.
And it's been like that since they've been in power with those 4 notable horns that have broke down since Alexander, man.
That's right.
You go back in history, you had Cassander, Seleucus, Ptolemy, and Lysimachus, man. And they all battled against each other to take the whole kingdom, man. Namely, you had the Seleucid line and the Ptolemaic line that was fighting against each other. That's in the Syrian wars. So you're pretty much seeing the fruits of that still multiplied as the brothers went into earlier, man. All right, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, is putting the spirit on you Edomites to fight against each other. And the thing about it is, he's using y'all to fight against each other just to fight against us ultimately. You know, because he knows we're the apple of his eye, man. So with his battling against us, he's willing to destroy his own people to do it, man. So as these Edomites in America, or these international bankers, all right, but using America to destroy their own people, to destroy us, they're setting up these Russians over here to fight against the America as well, man. It's when you really look at how these Edomites run things, man, it's all out of chaos, man. It's literally order ab chaos, man. Order out of chaos, you know?
That's right.
Okay.
Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, because the brother read it, the key point, he said, well, for them to destroy themselves. He said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Woo! And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
Hey, that precept that you just pulled, my brother, that reminds me of Psalm 64, around 8. It says their tongues shall fall on themselves, man. Basically, what they speak or their way, their philosophy is going to fall on themselves, man. Because the so-called white man or Edomite concept of righteousness is domination. In order to obtain that domination, he's willing to do any and everything to get it, man. Right. So that way, that conniving, that beast, you know, instinctual way of living, man, is gonna fall on them, man. And it's gonna culminate, if you will, to what? To World War III. Right. To where they're gonna want to destroy one another. You see? And again, Russia is going to be a huge component to the equation, man. You see what I'm saying? Hey, and we praise Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai for that, man.
That's right.
Because prophecy is being revealed before our eyes, man.
That's right. That's right. God,
you know what I'm saying?
It's beautiful because we see it taking place, man.
That's right.
Yahweh Shai said, blessed be your eyes, for you see things that princes and prophets and kings wanted to see. But we see them, man. So we're in a very, very, very precious, terrifying at the same time as the priest went into, but it's a very interesting time that we're living in, man, because we're literally bearing witness to the downfall of this wicked man that was prophesied to rule for eons, which is Esau, man, with the sword. And we're bearing witness to his downfall, man. Hey, it's written in Sirach 25:7. It says, you know, happy is the man that seeth the fall of his enemies. And it also talks about in Proverbs 29:16, pretty much going into how wickedness was multiplied, but the righteous shall see their fall. And we represent the righteous, Lord, when we endure, but we represent the righteous, or the elect represent the righteous that's going to see they fall. So we in that time right now, man. You know?
That's right. Did you have precepts?
I
Go ahead.
No, you right.
Yeah. This is Jeremiah 50:22. It says, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
So that's beautiful right now, man. We're coming into the time of the destruction of great Babylon. That's why, like the priest read, a divided kingdom shall not stand.
That's right.
The Lord set it up to where the Egyptians is rising up for the Egyptians for the purpose of World War III, ultimately to bring the destruction of great Babylon, which is America, man.
That's right.
You know, I'm gonna keep going. It says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. So a lot of the inventions and the things that they've set up to be a snare amongst these other nations is returning upon their own head. They never thought that supplying these different nations with armory will return upon their head. Right, you know? But it's all through the Spirit of the Lord that this is happening, man. You know? Because that's what made the level field the playing field level is the ICBM thermonuclear missile. Even these weaker nations have that same capability. And it's all going to be used to destroy Great Babylon. Of course, like we've been going into, the Russians and these other nations like the Chinese, they're going to be some of the key power players, but these other weaker nations, they're going to take part in the destruction as well.
That's right.
Just a few more verses. This is Jeremiah 50 and 25. It says, the Lord hath opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. And what are the weapons of the Lord's indignation?
Right.
It's these ICBM missiles,
right.
man.
That's right.
You can go into the variations, into the different levels of weaponry, but all of these things are ultimately created for the destruction of America. They're not going to be in a museum.
Right.
Esau has never created a weapon that he ain't used, man.
Right.
You know, the Lord put the spirit on them to create something that's going to bring their destruction. You know, it says, for this is the work of the Lord of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. So ultimately, it's all the work of the Lord that Esau, he had the spirit to create these missiles to bring his own destruction. You know?
I got one. Psalm 7 and 13. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordained of his arrows against the persecutors. You know, arrows, not talking about an actual arrow that you get and shoot with a bow and arrow. No. The arrow is those missiles, and the silo is the bow and arrow where the missile will come out of, man. So the Most High gathered these scientists up in these think tanks to come up with this technology, man, so they can destroy themselves, man. So the instrument of death is those thermonuclear war, destruction, which is those missiles. Yeah.
Isaiah 54 and 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire,
Think about that.
and bringeth forth an instrument for his work. Okay, who, like the brother mentioned, who was a smith. It started with those German scientists, man, who learned how to split the atom. Okay, and these are instruments for his work. Like the priest said, these are not going to be in a museum for us to be looking at like, man, that war almost went down. No, like, it's an instrument for his work, man. Whose work? The Heavenly Father, man.
Hey, and if I can say this too, because even the spirit that Trump is really heavy into trying to get that wall prepared, people think it's just to keep so-called Latinos out of South and Central America out of the U.S. No, you got to see what's going on in Venezuela, man. All of these things that's happening right now, that shows that a war is being prepared. Yeah. They're trying to basically protect the shores, man.
Right.
You know?
Like the prophecy says, go to the land of unwalled villages, man.
Right.
These places are protected right now.
Exactly.
And I have created the waster to destroy. And what's the waster, man? Like the brothers mentioned, what priest says, man. It's those thermonuclear missiles, man. It says it's not the waster to be a memorial for what could have happened. As the scripture saying, the scripture's not saying that, man.
Right.
It's created the waster to destroy, man.
Right.
The Most High is determined to destroy with those missiles, man.
That's right.
So they're going to be used, you know.
That's right. I got. Did you have more on that?
Yes.
Just a quick one. This is Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. It says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Woo! Okay, so hey, man. Hey, as the scriptures talk about this battle that's to come, as we're all going into, prophesying about, it's going to be with burning and fuel of fire. And we see how the spirit has it happen where all these earthquakes are taking place. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these earthquakes that are taking place, you know, it's a lot more oil that's pretty much spreading throughout the earth. You know what I'm saying? And within all these oil spills taking place, that's going to give room for when that fire touches this place, the fire is going to be much more immense, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Lord is doing a wonderful work, and the earth is literally fighting against this devil. So with the earth fighting against this devil and literally creating openings for those missiles to hit and help destroy these devils, man, you clearly see it's divine intervention that's going to take place, man. You said what?
The oil spill.
Exactly, because even the water, a lot of the water's gonna burn, man.
And that water gonna be burning.
Yeah, yep, exactly, man.
He was angry with the rivers.
That's,
I
I was just thinking about that though, right when you said it.
And Esau's conquest for greed is so heavy, they got what you call offshore oil rigs, man.
Yep.
Pumping and going deep into the earth, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's just gonna be more fuel for fire, man.
That's right. So what's ironic about what the brother said is, you have America really producing more oil than they ever had before. I believe that America has become one of the most producers of oil, man.
Yep.
Number one producer.
Yeah, the number one. I didn't want to, I thought so, but actually the number one producer of oil, man. You know, so all them oil spills and all that fracking that you see going on, you know, causing earthquakes and things of that nature. The earth is fighting back, and what's crazy is that's fulfilling prophecy, man.
Right.
Alluding to Matthew the 24th chapter.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So all these things, all these various bubbles are expanding and they're going to eventually explode, man.
Con.
And it's going to be total chaos out here, brothers.
That's
I got
right.
one for you.
Con.
No, they are.
Psalm 7:16, talking about the so-called white man. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate.
That's right, man. So the so-called
somebody
white
said.
man has went to these various countries and stole their land, you know, put these various countries, you know, in these contracts, man, you know, sold them, you know, these various swords or military gear, and all that's gonna come back on the so-called white man, because these various nations haven't forgotten what Edom has done, man. Alluded to colonization. People don't really understand how wealthy America, French, Belgium, you know, Britain, all these countries got by going over to, you know, South Central America, Africa, and stealing their natural resources, man.
Right.
You see? So now you got places like Russia who wasn't engaged in colonization at the time. China, who wasn't engaged in colonization at the time. What they doing? Well, they trying to be the next big thing, man. That's why you have China giving these various loans to these African states, man.
Yep.
Africa's about to be the next big thing. Believe it or not.
Yep.
They gonna put a plug on this place, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep. That's why them Chinese, the Moab is investing so heavily in their technology and so what you know as Africa, you know?
Mm-hmm. And that's gonna cause what? World War III.
Right.
That's why they're gearing up, man. Because everybody's about to start hating the horde, man. Alluding to what Revelations the 17th chapter.
Right. So,
You know, 17 and was 16. Can we grab that? You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's starting to hate this place. You know? Hey, America deemed itself as the police of the world, man. That's a very bold statement, man.
Yeah.
Bold and arrogant statement.
Yeah. Light.
You see?
Straight up. Vice policy.
Yep.
You said you want Revelation.
It says they should hate the whore.
They shall hate the Lord.
I would say
I got it.
would say
got it.
16.
Revelation chapter 17, verse 16.
Oh, I was right.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
So, recently you've been seeing, you know, these smaller countries, you know, bucking up against America, like India. You know what I'm saying? What else? What else? India. I know. Who else was talking big to America? Saudi Arabia was talking big, but now you're starting to see other countries, like countries that were in the EU, bucking up against America, man. And that's why you see these various countries, they're going back to their own people, man. You see the Brexit and things of that nature. You know, why is that? Because they're starting to worry about their own selves, man. And they're starting to see America as a problem, man. Because with America putting these various sanctions on Iran, that was hurting who? These European countries, man. They were stopping them from being able to produce, gain oil and things of that nature, man. You see, stopping Iran from being able to produce these nuclear products, if you will. And the EU or these European countries, they had these future contracts with Iran. They was banking on these various sanctions on Iran to be terminated. And when America reneged, that was a slap in the face to them, man. You see? So these other countries are going to start looking at America as if they're the problem.
Right.
Go ahead, my bro.
For the Most High hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled.
That's right. So the words of the Most High is going to be fulfilled, man. And the words of the Most High is this: that great Babylon is going to be destroyed, man.
Right.
It talks about that in the next chapter, in chapter 18.
Right.
Go ahead,
Right,
my brother.
if I say this, the Most High is with this, man. He's with the destruction of American society, man. Okay, the scripture, Exodus 15:3 says what? The Most High, the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is the host of this thing. So he's all in there, mixing it all up, man. This is according to his will.
That's right.
But you got these so-called Christians out here trying to stop that. They don't want World War III to happen. They don't want America to be destroyed. But if you believe in the Bible, you don't want this place to be destroyed if you really believe, man. That'll show you that so-called Christianity is against the will of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. So the Most High is all with this. You know?
That's right. Hey, like the priest said, man, they don't have the spirit of who the word called Jesus, man. The spirit of Jesus, his name is Yahweh Shai, is the spirit of what? Prophecy, man.
That's right.
So if you had the spirit of Yahweh Shai, then you need to be about what these scriptures say. Asking about the end, just like our forefathers was, man.
That's right.
They asked Yahweh Shai, you gonna in Acts what the second chapter? Will you now restore the kingdom of heaven? You see, you gonna do that now? Cause we trying to get the heck up out of here. We trying to rule.
That's right.
You in that same, you gotta be in that same spirit if you had the spirit, man.
Right. That's right. I got a quick rule. Yeah, there's some verses, but you know. This is Habakkuk chapter 3. I'm gonna start at verse 3. It says, "The Most High came from Teman," and Teman is synonymous for those Germans who built those nuclear missiles. You know what I'm saying? Those Edomites. "In the holy, on the Mount Paran, Selah, his glory covereth the heavens, and the earth is full of his praise." Jumping to verse 8. "Was Yahweh displeased against the rivers? Was thy anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea? That thou didst ride upon the horses in thy chariots of salvation?" Now we know that's pertaining to those chariots coming back. But while those chariots are coming back, it's going to be all hell breaking loose on this planet Earth as well, man. And those nukes are going to be flying. All right, we understand the earth is going to rock to and fro like a drunkard. And when the earth rocks to and fro, what's going to happen to the waters? It's going to shake. And we was talking about the oil spills earlier, man. The oil's all up in the water. And when those missiles hit, all that's going to be on fire, man. So it's going to be in complete utter chaos. Verse 9 says, "Thy bow was made quite naked according to the oaths of the tribes, even thy words, Selah. Thou didst cleave the earth with rivers." Now, who is the word? That's Yahweh Shai. And it talks about how it says thy bow was made quite naked. Now, when you read in Revelation, the 6th chapter, going into the white horse that comes back, all right, which represents victory, but you read about Yahweh Shai riding back on that white horse, all right? And when you read about it, it says he has a bow in his hand and an arrow. So we understand them chariots are going to be shooting fires. But hey, man, just as we understand when those missiles get flying off, man, the angels and the Lord are going to control those missiles too, man. So that bow's in his hand is pertaining to those missiles too. And it continues to go into it. It says, "The mountains saw thee, and they trembled. The overflowing of the water passed by. The deep uttered his voice, and lifted up his hands on high. The sun and the moon stood still in their habitation. At the light of thine arrows they went." And what are the arrows? Those are those nukes. All right, those like those 200 million horses.
Yeah.
That goes back to them 2 million missiles that's gonna hit. And it says none of them shall break rank. Like we always use the example in the movie 300, where that kind of spirit. When they shot all those arrows, and they said we got enough arrows to blot out the sun. And when you looked at it, all them arrows was flying. It was literally thousands and thousands and thousands of arrows that shot forth, and it blotted out the sun. So you read about, you look at that movie, and you think about how many nuclear missiles are going to be here. On top of those chariots that are going to be in the sky, this place is going to be covered in darkness, man. Right. Physically, though. You know, we already understand it's covered in darkness spiritually, but it's literally going to be made manifest into a reality, man. It says, "The sun and the moon stood still in their habitation. As the light of thine arrows they went, and at the shining of thy glittering spear." And what's that glittering spear, man? When you throw that spear and it glitters, that's that the nuclear missiles. All those arrows and those spears, it's gonna get bad out here, man. And you people don't got no clue what's coming.
Chilling, bro. Just chilling.
Straight up. That's right. That's pretty much it on that one.
I got one. All right, this is Jeremiah 51:7. It says, "Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad." So that was going into what Mike Yalla was saying. All of these different nations, they're gonna just go back to their own land, because everybody's realized that everything, all of the philosophies and the false doctrines that they've taken hold of in America to make profit, has been to their detriment on the back end. Ultimately, you know, now the nations are mad. They resent the whore. You know.
That's right.
Keep going.
That's right.
Verse 8, it says, Babylon is fallen. Salakia. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. And like this priest was saying earlier too, man, it ain't gonna be no healing in Babylon, man. Everybody at the end of the day that proclaims to believe in the Bible, but when we talk about the destruction of Great Babylon, which that was prophesied in the Bible, people get offended about it. The Lord is a man of war, and He's using World War III to bring the destruction of Great Babylon. That was all prophesied.
That's right.
And according to the prophecy, Babylon just happens to be your precious America, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can tell by the fruits and the spirits of this place. Right. I'm gonna just keep going. It says, verse 9, it says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country. For the judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the sky. So that's why all of these different nations, they really just trying to bankroll, and they skating out of this place, man. You know? And the Lord and the scriptures even tell us spiritually to take our mind out of this place. Even though we know that the deliverance is going to mainly take place in America, in Great Babylon. But we're supposed to take our spirit out of this place, our true energy out of this place. But all of these different nations, they physically getting the hell up out of this place, man. This place is through, man. Like the priest said, people are setting up shop in Africa. That's the next thing, man. In their vain eyes.
Right.
But the Lord has different plans, man.
That's right.
Only the next rulers of this earth is gonna be the nation of Israel under Yahweh Shah, man.
That's right.
I got one for you about the other nations. Isaiah 13:14, and it shall be as the chase roll, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone to his own land.
Woo! That's what you see.
They tucking, telling, and belling, baby.
That's right. And during World War II, you had this term called isolationism,
Right.
which is a fancy word that means basically these countries was basically worried about themselves, man. And that's what you see going on now. Brexit, make America great again. Hey, you got these austere laws in France. You got the people that are rising up, you know, with the yellow vest revolt that's been going on for weeks, man. I mean, it's been going on for weeks, like every day. You know what I'm saying? People are petitioning for their people,
Right.
Exactly.
and that's going to end in what? In war, man.
That's war.
You see?
Yep.
So when we see Russia talk big, talk reckless to Russia, to the U.S., man, we rejoice.
Right.
Right? Because we know that what, man, Babylon the Great is about to be touched, man.
Exactly.
Straight up.
Go ahead, my bro. Like the brother mentioned, Russia's Isaiah 13:17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Hey, if you read up on that, that's talking about daughter Babylon, huh?
Yeah, because we go in the first verse, it talks about the bird of Babylon, it's talking about shake the hand,
Yeah.
and prophesied that they go into the destruction. You know, you read down, you know, it's talking about Babylon, prophesying of this Babylon being destroyed.
That's
right.
You know, and so the Medes is Russia, man. The Most High, like we've been going into, he's stirring up Russia right now. This was Ezekiel 38, and they said they're not going to regard silver or gold. So the brother mentioned that song that Russian choir had did. One part of it says, I would do it for 3 rubles. And we do the math on that. It's like 45 cents. It's pretty much next to nothing. So they pretty much just gonna blow this bitch up, excuse my language, for free. They with it, man. You know, it ain't gonna be no amount of money that America pay. Nothing America can do to stop that, man. Because the Most High is controlled, man.
Right.
You read Proverbs 21:1, it says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, man.
Right.
You know, he turned it like the rivers, man. Loosely paraphrasing. So hey, the Most High is determined for this to happen, man.
Right.
That's okay. Verse 18, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb.
That's right.
Their eyes shall not spare children.
That's right. So Russia is ready to do damage, man.
Right.
On men, women, and children. You see, America, the American army has spread itself to then. It's going to be a draft, man, and now they're making it to where you women can be drafted, man. So we're gonna see how manly you are in that day.
Right. That's right.
We're gonna see how powerful you are in that day. We're gonna see how much of the world is gonna be a woman in that day. The future gonna be women,
straight up,
women
man.
in that day, man.
Straight up, man.
Independent you are, and the scripture say the mighty man gonna pride their privilege. So what you think y'all really gonna do?
Yeah. God.
I want to see Frontisha with a gat and a dusty wig, man, in that day.
Straight up, man. Yeah, I was at work a few days ago, man, and I ain't gonna say where I work at. Pretty much, you got military people that come in there dressed in their fatigued, and a lot of times you'll see them women trying to walk like they got it, like the brothers going into. Yeah, like they got nuts, man, bro. I was walking and I walked past the break area. You know how you sit on the wall, like dude, like the wall plant. You know what I'm talking? Like you sit wall sits. Man, she was sitting down at work doing with her outfit on, doing wall sits in the damn lunchroom, man. And I walked past and I giggled to myself, like, man, this bitch, man.
Ridiculous.
You know what I'm saying? When that day truly come, them wall sits ain't gonna benefit you at all, period. You gonna be running around looking crazy, man.
That's cute. That's cute. I mean, it's easy to go hard, with places like Afghanistan, Pakistan, and y'all even coming home with PTSD, and y'all kicking up your asses over there, man.
Right.
I had to shoot a kid.
Right.
Man, you got them Russians ain't worried about that, man.
They trained for that shit.
They true to this. They ain't new to this, man.
They come out the womb with a knife.
Yeah, punching trees and shit.
These other nations don't have women in their war games like that. They're all hard ass men in the snow, shirts off and shit, going hard.
Right.
Below degree weather.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's hopping logs and shit.
Yeah. Bro, the dude that just beat Conor McGregor a few months ago wrestled bears when he was 3, man. Yeah. Wrestling bears, bro.
Damn.
My brother, you got Keisha and Frontisha. She really won't have aspiration on the nail shop and the hair shop and shit, or going to school, you know what I'm saying, for whatever. And so she's going to the army just to get that paid for. Nah, them men, those are men of war, and they true to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, my papa's in the army, man. I went to the base where he worked at, man. It was pathetic. The soldiers that they have in there is terrible, and you didn't see black women there. Fat, weave, all just look like she just got a wig and just put it on her damn head, man.
Smoking cigarettes.
Everybody on pills, man. One dude, he was just sitting there rolling like an 18-reeler, man. Knew he was on all types of things, man. Like just bragging on the pills. He's like, I like to take this and mix it with my alcohol. Dude!
They don't take war seriously in America. Look at all the war moves they have. There's a Polish show with any army now, strikes. It's all a bunch of damn comedies about how the war moves.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah,
Hot Shot.
Hot shots for you.
Yeah.
Billy had cracked their egg on her bellies. Man, bro. It's a joke, man.
We got women in the army, bro.
Yeah, man.
It's a good
Got
joke,
hoes fighting.
Now you got women in these, like in China, other nations. They got their own military for women. The women over there beat y'all ass, man.
The only thing that's keeping America afloat is that that dollar and the guns, man.
Right.
Because America spends billions of dollars annually on missiles, guns, and so they're able just to drop bombs on people, send drones on people. But hey, these other countries are getting the same technology, and when it comes to the point to where it's going to be not hand to hand, but army against army. Hey man, America's done, man.
Con.
America's done, man.
Down the cold, man. Like you see, I can't remember, it was some show I saw where there was this one bully kept picking on these kids, man. And then finally everybody got tired of the bully, and he thought he was still backed up. All of a sudden, all his partners, he was punking and doing wrong. They all went to the other side with the bully guys, man. That's essentially what's gonna happen, man. They gonna gang up on the bully, man, which is America, man. Even your allies, man. That's what they say. The men of Dr. Confederacy have laid a boom underneath. Right. Everyone just buying their time so they can stockpile up, get strong enough, and then everybody gonna jump the hell out of America, man.
Yeah, that's right, man.
We'll have some more on this, verse 19. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
Woo! And how was Sodom and Gomorrah overthrown?
Fire.
Shoot. Fire, man. piercing fire, man. And this place right here is going to be overthrown, you know, the same way. That's how we know that it's not talking about ancient Babylon.
Right.
Because Iran is still around. That was the area in which Babylon was, man. That place is still established, man.
Yep. That's right.
It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation.
That's right. That's another indicator that they're talking about Babylon the Great, man. Another Babylon that's prophesied in Revelations.
Yep.
You see, because again, Iran, you know, them Persians, they're talking big. They're talking big to the U.S., man.
They got their weight up. Like you go to war, if you ain't got your weight up, your money game right, you don't say nothing. You build up.
Yep.
Now you get your weight up. Now you like, yeah, name, what you saying, bro?
Yeah.
Because now you got your weight up. You got your missile defenses. You got your missiles now. You got your army ready. You gear it up, man.
That's right. You know how you a kid,
Yeah.
you know, you had somebody in the neighborhood picking, like, all right.
Yeah.
A couple years later, you hit your puberty, you been playing football. Nigga say something at you, well, hey, what's up then, nigga? I've been out like you, nigga, what's up?
You had a growth spurt.
You know what I'm saying? You called it, come on. You ready to box.
Yep.
Hey, that's what these countries are doing, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? They telling Russia, hey, they're telling the U.S., hey, man, come look at that, man.
Right.
Russia, tell them, hey, come look at that. Come look at that, man.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we're going to make a song about you. How about that?
Yeah. Straight up.
And put it on national television. How about that?
Stunt, flex.
Miracles.
Flexing,
Done.
bro. Back in the day, that people wouldn't have did that to the U.S., bro.
Exactly. Right.
Nobody would have said nothing to the U.S. Everybody would have treated the U.S. like Deontay Wilder.
That's right.
Nobody want that smoke.
Right. They got
The
that
only
paper
person who
on
wanted that smoke was Ortiz and what's my man with the braids that was getting his ass dusty?
Oh, he's talking about my man Stavern.
Stavern.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna kick your ass. Kick your ass.
Kick your ass, boy.
Bill. Day after day. Getting beat up. Hey, man, it's a new day now.
That's right.
It's a new day. The other
That's
nations
right.
ain't worried about that, man.
God.
They're starting with who? With Russia, man.
He get his ass kicked.
That song, they wasn't singing in parables like, you know, some songs was like allegory or poetry. No, that song was directly aimed
right.
at America.
Shots
Fuck
fired.
these niggas up. You know what I'm saying? Straight shots fired directly at America. You know?
Russia made a diss song.
Yeah. They this song.
They like Tupac. You like Tupac.
First of all, after
Hit them
Yeah,
up.
you know what I'm saying?
hit him up, bro.
Yeah, straight up.
I like you, Pete. That's what's up, man.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hey, it's all the most side work, man. They sing a song, we singing that new song, man. It's slowing down, and that song was ended up in destruction of America, man.
Hey, and this place deserves to get hit up too,
does.
man. When you
Straight
really
up.
think about it, man, like everything as far as the level of wickedness and just greed and just pollution and filth, it's just hitting astronomical levels, man. It ain't nothing else left.
Right.
If you're in your right state of mind, you should be one with the Most High One to hasten the destruction of great Babylon, man.
That's right.
It's time. It's time to get a family.
That's right. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there.
Because the nations come over here and make money by setting up their little shops. And you go to New York, them damn food trucks on the corner of New York, man, they all making money, man. Yeah, right. So it will come a time when this place be destroyed. You ain't gonna be. When America go down, you ain't making no more money, man.
That's right.
But the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there.
That's right.
And so, hey, that's talking about just desert creatures. Only things that are going to be here, man, like the screech owl and all that. And you can, and that leads to what? Revelation, the 18th chapter, in the beginning. It's talking about the devils being a lucid paraphrase, talking about the same creatures, man. And it leads to us being beamed down to destruction. Now I heard a loud voice saying, "Come out of her." That's the chariots, man, beaming up the elect, man. Simultaneously while this place is being destroyed.
You going back home and stop.
That's right.
You know?
Are you done? It goes right into what both of y'all said. This is Malachi chapter 4, starting at the top. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, that it shall leave neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name, because it's about beaming up the elect of those chariots, unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and go forth and grow up as the calves in the stall. So as that day that is pertaining to in Malachi 4, that shall burn as an oven as we're going into, and how it's going to burn by those nukes, the elect are going to be brought forth through that fire. Now, when you go into that, pretty much when it goes to shall be raised up as calves in the stall, when you go into pretty much laborers work or farming, you pretty much had young calves that all got raised up together. And once they got to that age where they were actually able to go down there and tread the corn, they were all put together on a yoke. That's why another reason why Paul considered us yoke fellow, because we're all yoke fellow doing this work. You know what I'm saying? And as they had treaded down the corn was treaded, but they weren't muzzled and they was able to eat the corn. You know, but pretty much going into it, we're all being risen up together as those calves to the stall, yoke fellow. But as that fire comes, we all, Lord, when we those men, gonna get beamed up in those chariots all together on those yokes, you know?
Right.
Anybody else?
That's all I have.
I think the Holy Spirit and made the point. That's the right way to end it off. Get it secret. Hey, we want to give all praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash.
Double honors to the